What is going on, Buckeye Nation? We are back. We are back again, man. I'm excited to be back. Buckeyes just had a bye week, so they should be well rested. They said this is a week to get better, and I believe them. We are currently Buckeyes' third game, chance to go 3-0. Hey, and I'm excited to be here, man, talking about my Buckeyes. And just get a little bit of landscape about college football, man. It's been a lot of good games, a lot of good storylines. So probably talk about a variety of things, and then we'll touch on the Buckeyes a little bit later. But before we get started, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And man, let's get into it, man. What's going on in college football, man? It's been a lot of good games. Georgia just had a little scare last week against Kentucky. I actually watched majority of that game, and I mean, I thought Georgia. I mean, I thought obviously, film. I didn't. It's not like I'm digging into no film or nothing like that, but just from the first the live take, man, I felt like Kentucky was kind of handling Georgia up front on both sides. Like Kentucky, like running backs were. Man, they was picking up some yardage, 5 or 6 pop at times, man. And Georgia was having a hard time stopping the run. And then on the defensive side, Kentucky did a really good job of controlling the offensive line. Georgia has one of the better offensive lines. So, man, it was a pretty good game. I felt like Mark Stoops, when he had that chance to 4th and 8 at midfield, that was his chance, right? And, he didn't play to win, some would say. But I understand your defense been playing good all game. You thought you would punt, maybe get a chance to get it back with about a minute or so and see what you can do. But credit to Georgia for making key plays, man. In games like that, they're close. It's about some of those key plays, those keys first down, especially late in the game. And Georgia was able to do that. They showed the championship pedigree and they ended up pulling it off. But it was a really good game for a team that that blitz Clemson. Then they come back and they had their first on the road game against Kentucky, a team that just got blasted by South Carolina. It definitely opened some eyes. And, it's a lot of good games this week also. That Oklahoma, Tennessee is going to be a good one. Tennessee's looking really good, man. They're looking really good, man. That offense is deadly. That defense is nasty, man. That defense is an SEC defense. The speed, the power, the athleticism. They will be scary in the playoffs. You do not want to see Tennessee in the playoffs, man. Uh, who else is to? Oh, well, we got USC Michigan, which that is going to be I don't know, being a Buckeye fan, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. Like I'm kind of happy Michigan looks like this. You know what I mean? Like they don't look good. That Texas game was brutal, but I would think that they're gonna play better. They're gonna play better. They're at home again. They're facing USC, who's been actually looking pretty good. The game that I saw against Utah State, they look really good. And then LSU, I'm pretty sure everybody saw that game. So that should be a good one, man. Alex Orji is going to start for Michigan. We know he's a great athlete. And usually, in high school and youth sports, you put your best athlete at quarterback because, he touches the ball. Uh, and so we'll see how it plays out. I don't think Michigan is built quite like it was last few years. So I don't know. I want to say Michigan in a tight game, like a real like maybe like a 24-21 type game. But man, it's hard to even imagine Michigan scoring 24 points. You know what I mean? Like honestly, they scored what was it 28 last week against Arkansas State? They scored was like 12, I think, against Texas and like 30 against Fresno State, but that was a pick six at the end. So I don't know, man. I almost feel like if Michigan, if USC can get 20, it's over. You know what I mean? But I do think Michigan will play better. I'm kind of 50-50 on that one. Uh, I don't know, man. I want to say I'm gonna say UFC with a slight edge, but I mean I do think Michigan's gonna play a lot better. I think that defense is gonna really keep them in the game this time, and we'll see what USC is about. Playing on the road in the big house. Um, can they stop the run? Even though USC defense looks improved, so that's a good one. That's a really good game. Who else is kind of getting it in? Oh, we got a big one, man. Shout out to I live in Illinois, so shout out to my coworkers, all my U of I fans out there, man. They got a big game, Nebraska at Nebraska. Uh, U of I in Nebraska is tomorrow, Friday, which I hate that they play games on Friday. That's kind of like high school. But for my U of I fans, man, I'm definitely rooting for you guys. U of I looks pretty good. That defense looks good, and they do just enough on offense. And Nebraska's been playing some good ball. They got a really solid defense, and that Dylan Raiola, that freshman, has really been playing some good ball. But I do think this is a different challenge as far as the defense that he's facing. That U of I defense has created a lot of turnovers this year, and it's so this is the first time he'll be facing to me a solid defense. Uh, and so we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited to watch that game tomorrow. So we'll see what happens, man. So it's just that's the landscape, man. One thing that I've been hearing this past week all over is a big thing that's been kind of getting on my nerves is who have the Buckeyes played? They ain't played nobody. Why is this always a thing with us? Like I understand the notion from from a fan perspective, like you want to see us do it against some of the more of elite teams. I understand that. I'm like that. I know we're gonna beat Western Michigan and Akron, but you only can play the people that's on your schedule. And if anything so far should tell you this year is that anybody can be beat, man. Anybody can be beat on any given Saturday. Uh, so you have to bring your A game. But I hate the media now. It's like it's only like this with us. And the SEC plays FSC schools or low division schools, they blow them out. They doing trick plays and they do whatever. They get all the praise in the world. Honestly, if Michigan or Penn State is doing this, they get all the praise in the world. We look we look really good the last two games. Then we had a bye, and it's well, I want to see what they do. They didn't even play nobody. Why is that only with us? Like I know it's a Buckeye thing. I know I don't want to sound arrogant, but it just feels that way. Nobody gets this treatment but us. Even if we would have scheduled a Power Five opponent and we would have beat them really bad, you know what they would have said? Oh well, they not that good, no way. Michigan hasn't looked good at all, and they praise Texas for beating them, and they don't even have a quarterback. Like, let's get real with this, man. Like, stop. I hate that narrative about only with Ohio State. Like seriously, it's always that with us. They don't play nobody. Well, we only can play the teams that is front of us, that work scheduled. Ever since I've known, even back in Trussell, we've always played a big time Power Five game to start the season. Very rarely have we started out with three low level teams. Last 2 years were Notre Dame. We had Oregon, but due to COVID, we had a game home and away with Oregon. Before that, it was Oklahoma. It was Texas one year. And we still got some more big games. I think we got Texas next year, and I think Georgia fought so we are able to do the things that we want to do at times. Nobody's scheduling like Ohio State year in and year out. Maybe Georgia, maybe Bama, uh, Clemson, they usually have a big time game, but so I don't understand the riffraff, man. I hate that notion. You can look at a team and tell that they're good based off the film and based off the eye test. And as of right now, Ohio State looks pretty good. I'm not stating that opponents don't play a part in you looking good. Obviously, if you're more talented at times, but that last game against West Michigan, we looked really good. Our O line was moving people around. I feel like we could have scored at will. We pushed them around. That's what you want to see. So I just had to get that off my chest, man. I really hate that narrative, man. I really do. Okay, we'll say we would have played a Texas Tech or somebody like that and blew them out the water. They will still say the same thing. Well, they ain't played nobody. Like, get real, man. Like that's only a Ohio State thing. We got different rules from anybody else, and call it what you want. But anyways, let's dive into my Buckeyes, man. I had to get that run off. We got Buckeyes versus Marshall. Uh, Marshall's 1-1. They lost to Virginia Tech, and I think they played like I think Stony Brook, and they blew them out. So, but just watching them, just a little bit of game highlights here and there. They look pretty solid, man. They got a decent quarterback. They got a decent running game, and they got I think his name is Christian Fitzpatrick. He's a big receiver, man. He's long strides, tall. They kind of throw up balls to him, and he has really good skills. So for our defense, this could be a really a challenge, man. Defensively, they're not bad. Like they fly around to the ball, they play aggressive. So this definitely could be a nice little warm up before we really, dive deep into Big Ten play because this is our last non-conference game, and then we really get diving deep before our second bye. Who does a second bye, but not complaining. And then we really, finish the season out. So, this is just to get get the kinks out. You know what I'm saying? Get the kinks out and get the offense ready, get the defense ready down to the Jackson to be playing. Just get to doing things, fine tuning some things and get ready for Big Ten play because we got a stretch here before our second bye. That's going to be very challenging if we are coming in the game not fully prepared or not fully aware of things. So but Marshall definitely can give us a little bit of trouble if we don't come out and be fast. You know what I mean? I'm expecting to see Will Howard to stay hot. Hopefully he can continue this growing and getting the ball out on time. I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen so far, other than his deep throws, being more accurate on his deep throws, but just getting the ball out on time. I feel like sometimes he's like a little late seeing it. So hopefully he can get better with that. That's one thing I will be looking at Saturday at 11, just getting the ball out a little bit better, his timing with the receivers. Then obviously our running game has been really good in my opinion, especially that second game against Western Michigan. Junkins and Travion, man, what a 1-2 punch. Like I knew Junkins was good, but man, that dude is really good, man. He's like everything the Buckeye needed, and he you're not gonna tackle him with one guy. Like he always breaks a tackle, man. He always falling forward. He's always breaking tackles. Like, man, that dude is just strong and powerful how he runs. Man, I love watching him run the ball. And then you got Trey, who man can take it the distance from 80, that speed. And and he's getting, like I said, over the last couple of years, you see him running like way more physical. I still think he sometimes, I wish he would break a few more tackles, but maybe that's never going to be his game. But to have Junkins as a sidekick, I think, man, that is an awesome 1-2 punch. The way they can press the hole and get upfield and get some positive yards is huge. And I continue to want to see that against Marshall Saturday. Then the receivers just need to continue to, being free and running routes and getting open. Jeremiah so far has been a star, but I think Carnell Tate is a star to making, and I would love to see continue to and incorporate Mecca a little bit more each week. I know it seems like they're not trying to put too much on them. They're trying to save them for you get to the Iowas and the Big Ten play and the Oregons, but I like how in Western Michigan game they kind of starting, feed them a little bit, getting them going a little bit because Emeka's going to play a huge role in this season and this team for see how far we can go. We need him to have a huge season, but and then I would like to see Brandon Ennis get a little bit more run out there, man. I think that kid is very shifty and can do a lot of things. So I'm looking forward to receivers, man. I think that's one of the most exciting things about this team so thus far is that those receivers, man, and they're young. Other than Emeka, they're all really young. We got so much young talent as far as receivers, so it's just good to see everybody out there making plays. Let me look. Yeah, Jeremiah has 11 catches, 211, 3 touchdowns so far this year. So he's already cooking, man. So I'm expecting another touchdown, to be honest with you. I don't know how many yards, but man, that dude is really special, man. And I know the talk has been, what would you take? What would you rather take? Fourth year Marv or Jeremiah? I think, guys, let's be real, man. Marv was special. But Jeremiah is a special talent too. And I don't know if I'll take him over Marv, fourth year Marv, but maybe, sophomore year Jeremiah over fourth year Marv, or man, that could really could be an argument, if not, taking Jeremiah. So he's that special with talent. So, but like I said, I like all the receivers. I really like Cardinal Tate too. I think he's a star in the making. And then Emeka's gonna be a Mecca. So yeah, I just expect him to continue growing. I expect Marshall. I think Marshall's gonna challenge him. That has yet to be done. Maybe not Marshall. I'll take that back. Maybe not Marshall. Maybe Michigan State next week. But I feel like we've yet to see uh, guys play us man up and try to force it over the top. I think that's the next goal that we have to get better at because I think defenses will say, okay, can they get off man press and can Will Howard push the ball down the field? That's what I would do. If I was defensive coordinator, I got young receivers. Uh, I would be man up press and see if we can go over the top. But so far Will Howard has been 50-50 with the deep balls. The first game against Akron, he was good, but against Western Michigan, he wasn't so good. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of that, especially when you start getting the Big Ten play. Let's test these young receivers. Let's test the ball downfield, see if we can throw it down the field. So, and I know there's ways around that, but just in my opinion, that's what I would do if I was on the defensive staff of Marshall. Obviously, you got to have the personnel, but receivers gonna be receivers. This is where when you talk about Buckeye Ohio State football, this is where the question comes: can the O line continue growing and being good? You know what I mean? Last week they were dominant. They were literally dominant. Excuse me, they were dominant. And then uh, so we'll see if we can still push Marshall around. I think they're a little bit better defensively than Western Michigan, and I think they're just watching them on highlights like they're a little bit better defensively. So let's see, man. Let's see if our offensive line can be uh, great in the trenches again and move people around and get those running backs. Because if we can run the ball like we did against West Michigan against anybody, we're going to win. We're going to win a natty. I know it's hard to win a national championship, but I am wholeheartedly believe that if we are able to run the ball like we do that, make it 50-50 balance on offense, I really think we'll have a good shot at winning it. But so offensive line, man, they just have to continue doing what they need to do. And then on the flip side, defensively, I'm excited them to go against spread offense like Marshall. They're going to throw the ball a little bit. So to me, that works into our favor, right? We got a dominant D line, and our secondary is legit. So, but this is how you test it. On paper, we're legit, but this is how you find out what you're made out of. They're going to be tested deep down the field. Quarterback's going to throw it to Fitzpatrick. He's a solid receiver. So far in the season, he has 8 catches, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So got some pretty decent stats. So it should be a good matchup for our secondary. See how our safeties can cover. See how Denzel Burke be back and Igbinosa and Jordan Hancock. So it should be a very good challenge for our defense, and I'm excited to see them go. I'm excited to see that pass rush. Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, Caden Curry, and Tyleek, all those guys, man, they're legit. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see those guys go to work. So yeah, man, I'm expecting a Buckeye a route. I mean, honestly, I think Marshall will keep it competitive, maybe the first quarter, but I think the Buckeyes will start pulling away second quarter and then second half. Against Western Michigan, we kind of came out flat, and I'm expecting us to come out on fire the second half and kind of able to get other people get some reps in. So that's what I'm expecting, man. I really am. If I could have a score prediction, I think the line is what's the line? It's 39 and a half. I can see like a 40, 45, 10. I can see like a 45-10. Yeah, I can see that. Does that cover? Yeah. Well, not it don't cover, but I think a 45-10, 42-10 type game. I can kind of see something like that. Really competitive the first quarter, a lot of heart. Then the Buckeyes started to wear and tear, and that offense starts to get going. Because that bye week can sometimes throw you off a little bit. You start a little slow. And I think once we get going, see like a 45-10, 42-10, something like that. But I definitely think the Buckeyes will take care of business and get everything ramped up for a Big Ten play. But that's all I have today, man. I got a little things off my chest. I'm excited for this week. Buckeyes are back playing. Like I said, it's a lot of good games this week. You got U of I, Nebraska tomorrow. Then you have Michigan, USC, and got Tennessee, Oklahoma. Uh, you got Clemson, North Carolina State. So you got a lot of solid games, man. Shout out to Clemson, my coworker. He's a big Clemson fan, man. They looked good last week. Shout out to Clemson. Uh, so yeah, man, college football is definitely back in full swing. So that's all I had, man. That's my little predictions. Our predictions this week regarding the Ohio State game, and hopefully everything turns out good, man. I would hate to come back on this thing uh up with a upset about Ohio State and how we looked, uh or what make us feel like we Notre Dame, and I have to come here and talk about how we got upset, one of the biggest upsets in history. I doubt that with this team, but you never know, man. Never know on a Saturday. So I'm gonna get out of here. Everybody, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment. Give me some feedback. Other than that, man, let's go Bucks. Let's get this dub this week. And hopefully I'll be back on here Sunday with a recap, man, instant recap. So I'm out of here. Peace out.